quarterback.
Oh, there's a goal!
Oh, at least I thought he was gonna until he blew it.
Don't you worry, baseball, I haven't forgotten about you. As the football world consumes most of our attention, there is incredible intrigue happening on the diamond. Things are tightening up significantly in the wildcard races. Teams have surged, the once surging have sputtered, and some divisions have become fiercely contested duels to the death. With every pitch and swing mattering in the age that is September baseball, the stories to be told are those in legends. Or tragedies. When you consider a group like Tampa Bay, you think of the cutting edge. You think of those that are constantly looking to up the bar to gain advantages over their competition. With the results that have been shown this year, those ideals have once again come into the light. Riding impressive form throughout August and September, the Rays have run away with a highly competitive AL East. This is Wander Franco's world. We are merely allowed to exist on it. The crown jewel of the prospect world has shown us all his incredible abilities. Another weapon to add to the arsenal. Now let's stop to watch Nelson Cruz hit dingers. Balance. That's always been the key to Tampa Bay, even though there seem to be some struggles in the starting pitching. It's been dogged by injuries, and they'll have to rely on the likes of Drew Rasmussen, Shane McClanahan, and Michael Wacha to guide them to the dominant bullpen. Despite their success, there are still questions to be answered, and all we can hope is that they can be in due time. Boston is still alive, and to be fair, that's all you can really hope for if you're a fan of the Red Sox. Things haven't been optimal. They've lost traction in the AL East race and are currently in a dogfight with two other division rivals for wildcard positions. Even though they're not in the form they once had, they've gotten key performances from unexpected sources. If you were to guess the stars of the show would be Hunter Renfroe and Bobby Dahlbeck, then you are a psychic. Okay, I'll add Kyle Schwarber killing baseballs to this list as well. Alex Verdugo and Kike Hernandez adding quality contact to the effect, but the big weapons have merely been okay. You can argue it was due to the COVID wave that had infested the team in late August, but they have more to give, and they need to emerge for any hopes of success. But what about the starting pitching, you say? You surely can't think the Red Sox can only rely on the likes of Nathan Eovaldi, Eduardo Rodriguez, and Garrett Richards. There has to be something more. And there is. A huge piece has returned at just the right time. Chris Sale, fresh from the exile of the injured list. He hasn't missed a beat since stepping back onto the mound, and it may be the piece that allows them to at least have a chance. That's all the Red Sox need. They're familiar with this kind of situation. Do you remember what I said back in July? That the Yankees should start shitting their pants since they seemingly didn't round into form quickly enough? Well, I guess that was a dog whistle to get their shit together. Throughout the middle of the year, a flame was burning throughout the land, and pinstripes trailed in its wake. The New York Yankees had become one of the hottest teams in baseball. The success came in the current core. Giancarlo and Aaron Judge smacking the ball with authority. And don't forget about the slighted Luke Voigt. I think he's a starter at the major league level, just a hunch there. They were as advertised, and it rallied them back to contention status. Garrett Cole rebounded from allegations of assistance from Spider Tech to dominate opposing hitters. But even for all that success, the question nowadays? Did they peak too early? They've fallen back to their sluggish ways with critical losses against playoff contenders. The bats have faded off from the August swoon, and Rizzo and Gallo have not been in optimal form. They've struggled mightily in pinstripes. A team can't hit around 210 in the month of September and expect to make it to the dance. Somebody's going to capitalize on it. Perhaps a divisional foe. I had a feeling that Toronto wasn't playing up to their potential in the past. It would show flashes of it throughout the season. Just gaze at how their hitting core destroys opposing pitching and you can see it for yourself. But there were a few things holding them back from greatness. Injuries and the bullpen. Over the past month and change, it seems like things have been mended on that front. They needed a Herculean effort to get themselves back in the playoff race, and by God, they've done it. Have you seen them lately? They've been on fire. They've gained health. The bullpen has found consistency, and this is with Brad Hand flopping out of the team's plans. Do you remember Adam Simber, reliever who never panned out in Cleveland in a trade with Brad Hand? He's back to his Padre form, and it's been critical for their success. If they keep playing like this, with such efficiency, with game-changing ability, they are a dark horse to make noise in the postseason. I don't say that lightly. Few teams have their raw talent on display. If you watch them, you'll see for yourself. The AL Central is all but locked up. It kind of isn't a surprise. Most of the division is either struggling or dealing with injury or underachieving. This usually allows for one team to pounce on the opportunity. And that team would be the Chicago White Sox. The thing with Southside is that they are very good. Getting pieces like Robert Jimenez and Grandal back from the IL have been huge in maintaining their supremacy. But one question has been bugging me. How much of their success has been due to their play and how much is due to their weak division? We've seen the Indians feast on it in years past only to bow out early in the postseason. And Chicago will want to avoid such comparisons. You know what they'll need to stave off that fate? Craig Kimbrell to return to form. He hasn't been the same since taking a train down to the south side of the city. He's returned to being hittable. And that's dangerous for any team relying on his elite play. Dallas Keuchel is mired in a dreadful cold streak as well. And we know he is capable of better. Thank the gods for Carlos Rodon, but he can only do so much. They're a team to watch moving forward. The pendulum can swing either way for them. Much to the chagrin of the rest of the league, the Houston Astros are still a threat to be reckoned with. They know where their strengths lie. The awesome hitting core that terrorizes opposing pitchers. The youthful rotation that continues to develop week to week. And Zach Greinke's deception fooling every hitter he faces. Thank God he's not facing any of the Astro bats. That luxury has allowed names like these to thrive. Jordan, Kyle Tucker, Bregman, Altuve, Correa, Gurriel. They have the weapons to reach another World Series. Coming as close as they have the last 2 years has only made them hungrier. Their long-term sustainability shouldn't be in question, but there is an issue for the offseason. And that's in Carlos Correa. He's more than likely going to head to free agency. I have no worries about Houston replacing his ability. They've survived Springer's departure with ease. All that has to be said, if there's a time to win, why not now? When you looked at the A's from a glance, something seemed off. They lacked legitimate oomph in their lineup. They had good players but lacked greatness. Too many cracks were showing in their flawed exterior. Glancing at them over the past month, those concerns were confirmed. Oakland fell off the wagon and has had a hard time getting back up. From 67-48 in mid-August to losing 18 of 28. Late inning collapses have been a major culprit. Their once reliable bullpen has hit at least 5 snags in holding leads. And they've lost vital ground in the wildcard race. Despite their efforts, the batting core can't keep up. Starling Marte has been excellent as an addition, but they'll need 9 more of him to shore up the pitching issues that have sprung up. They need Matt Chapman to bounce back. They need the bullpen to repair itself. If they fail, it may cost them a chance at redemption. It would sadly be the status quo in Oakland. They don't want that to happen again. Seattle Mariners continue to defy every expectation in the book. Base statistics and trends point towards a sharp crash. Analytics fail to identify a true underlying cause of their success. The hitting core continues to struggle throughout major points in the lineup, yet they still succeed. We continue to wait for the dick punch, but it hasn't come yet. They find ways to win. And at the end of the day, that's all a team needs to maintain pace in the playoff race. It's not pretty most of the time. It requires a rotating chorus of star performers. And it may not be enough to overcome the machines in the rest of the AL, but you know what? I'm gonna tip my cap to the Mariners this year. I don't know how long Logan Gilbert can keep carrying the staff. I don't know if they can get more than 1 or 2 bats to rake at the same time. I don't know if it's even sustainable for next year, but for now, I just bask in the relevance of September baseball. There are far worse places a team can be. I'm quite surprised with Atlanta's resilience in the face of certain doom. After Acuna's injury, I had them all but written off due to a lack of true difference makers, but they've thrived in the chaos. The Braves have not only found form with a newfound outfield core, but they've snagged an NL East that was ripe for the taking. The keys for Atlanta maintaining composure in the face of adversity have been in new and old faces. Adam Duvall returning to the lineup has been a shot in the arm for the batting core. He's one of the better power hitters on the squad right now. The other punch is the revival of Jorge Soler. There's a nickname for what he's doing in Cobb County. Soler power. And it's apparently more reliable at night. Freeman and Swanson are still doing their thing, but the Braves can always use more reinforcement. If Austin Riley returns to what he was doing in August, they may have a chance to get revenge for last season. With Max Fried and Charlie Morton leading the way for the pitching staff, they're hoping they're just not fodder in the NLDS. I hope for their sake the injury bug ceases up. They had a scare involving Ozzie Albies a few weeks ago. I fear they can't afford another blow like that. If there's one positive I can say about the Phillies, it's that they have a chance to finally finish over 500. They're one of the more frustrating franchises to follow, and for very good reason. All logic says they should be much better than what they are. If you look at the individual talents on their roster, dear God, they should be running with the division right now. But that's never happened. They'll show flashes of such glory, but it's never consistent. If the bullpen's not randomly shitting the bed, the hitters become mercurial. Zach Wheeler will make an argument for the NL Cy Young, yet Aaron Nola will randomly fall off the map. Bryce Harper is trying to carry this team to the best of his abilities, but he's being let down by those around him. Once again, the Phillies should be much better than this. And we all know it. At this rate, I don't know if Joe Girardi survives another season if there's more mediocrity. It's a critical juncture for these Phillies. Will they let us down again? I guess I can call myself a jinx for the Mets. I thought things had finally cleared up in Queens. I thought Lowell Mets was truly a thing of the past. I assumed they were going to figure out their hitting and run away with the division. Psych! That princess isn't another castle. The problem here is that the hitting has done nothing but suck after slumping so mightily over the early months. The pitching was strong, I said. There's no way the Mets are just going to go back to their old ways. The more things change, the more they somehow stay the same. Jacob deGrom can't come back soon enough because these past 6 weeks have been nothing more than bullshit in a pile. After endless struggles, Javi Baez, Francisco Lindor, and others are tired of being booed. And they responded in a professional manner by booing the fans when they get a big hit. Thumbs down for Mets fans, off with their heads! So not only is Steve Cohen publicly bitching about the hitting woes and player backlash on Twitter, but he may have to find his third GM in a year. The first one had an affinity for showing his penis to women in texts. The current one is being arrested for DUI. He was asleep at the wheel, but having keys in the car is considered intent. So DUI it is. It's only more shit to the pile. Mets fans were told this year was going to be different, that the pitfalls of the Wilpon years would be avoided. For now, though, it jumped right back into them. The Milwaukee Brewers have the pitching core to make it to a World Series. It's probably one of the more lukewarm takes I've had on this channel. Dead serious, watch them pitch. It's even better to witness in person. When you throw out guys like Burns, Woodruff, Peralta, Devin Williams, Hader, and more on a daily basis, you don't have to worry about overmanaging. Just let them do their thing and the winds will just guide wins to your lap. Their pitching is quite possibly the best in baseball, but the Brew Crew knows what needs to maintain form to reach such lofty goals. The hitting. It's full of role players, strong defenders, power bats, and versatility, but it's not what you call elite. They know what they need. They need Prime Yelich. The beast has shown whimpers of its might, but it hasn't reached what it can be. It's crucial he's at his best. Lacking consistent hitting is the only thing holding them back, but if they can get it, oh baby. They not only can reach the ceiling, but they'll bust right through it. Cincinnati is a very weird nut to crack. They'll go on these impressive winning streaks when you realize they can be something far more than expected. You witness their hitters emerge as something capable of going deep in a pennant race, their pitching capable of holding opposing hitters at bay. Then, for whatever reason, be it fate or crashing down to earth, the Reds just spit out consecutive losses like there were nothing. There are two constants about the lineup. Nick Castellanos will hit bombs, and he will hit bombs during somber moments. He does not care about the occasion, he will destroy the opposition. And will be joined by Jesse Winker, Jonathan India, and Joey Votto. They're so close to achieving something, yet they can't reach that last gear. It'd be a shame if they couldn't corral their talents into at least a wildcard appearance. Eugenio Suarez seems to have finally snapped out of his slump too. Can they please have everything gel at once? Most of their games coming up are against Pittsburgh and Washington. This is optimal. I don't know how, I don't know why, but the St. Louis Cardinals are somehow still in the National League playoff race. They should have been taken out back and put out of their misery long ago, but they're still clinging on to dear life. They have a few bullets in between their eyes, but Jesus Christ, this Cardinal won't fucking die. Now imagine saying that other than in the Vatican. The Cardinals love gold. Particularly Paul Goldschmidt, who has been raking. They've gotten solid production from the rest of the core, but for pitching? Remember when I said I had no idea why they acquired J. Happ or John Lester? Thought they were just going to be old and take up space here? They both have played solid roles to complement Adam Wainwright, who has somehow gone back to 2010, abducted himself, and is having himself pitch games this season. Even if they somehow don't make it, the grand finale won't be happening until next year, when Yadier Molina begins his Jeter-esque farewell tour. Never say die, though. St. Louis sure as shit doesn't. And do something about that bullpen falling off, though. Reyes, Gallegos, and Cabrera haven't been the same as they were early on. Any doubters of San Francisco may leave the video right now. This has now become the Church of the Giants, a house where aging hitters gain a stroke rivaling that of their prime, where once struggling pitchers regain their dominant deception and velocity, where misfit toys find not only a home but a purpose. Look at a guy like Darren Ruff. He hasn't been relevant since 2015, yet he's hitting like he's been in the bigs for years. Speaking of that year, Brandon Crawford, Brandon Belt, and Evan Longoria are hitting the ball like they've been transported back there. And like most pitchers free from Baltimore, Kevin Gossman has somehow become a god. The Giants' main strength in this year has always been in its pitching, how it's exceeded every expectation in the book, with their hitters keeping up just enough to become an optimized machine. The cynical part of me is just waiting for the other shoe to drop, but it hasn't happened. Maybe this team is for real. San Fran just keeps getting better. A legion of veteran athletes kicking ass. It's the real-life version of the Expendables. I just want you to do one thing. Win the damn NL West for us. The Dodgers are never to be underestimated. They may not lead their division per se, but that's not an indictment on them at all. They're still the juggernaut that they were last season and will be for a while to come. You know why I know this? Just watch Max Scherzer pitch. He somehow not only maintains Cy Young form, but he's transcended to a new level of pitching. One that requires little effort but maximizes results. Just plop him out there. He will intimidate opposing hitters to swing at anything he throws. With Julio Urias and Walker Buehler beside him, there is little question as to his potential dominance. Unfortunately for them, Trevor Bauer won't be coming back this season. His absence has been extended to make sure of it, but you know who is returning? Clayton Kershaw. Back from a long-term injury, he's not going to be required to be the guy. With a pitcher like him as your number 3 or number 4 starter, that's a deadly arsenal. Even for their strengths, they know what they need to fully realize their potential. Cody Bellinger. He's struggled mightily this season. He's pressing too hard. But if he manages to find his stroke and whack a cookie down the middle, good night. We know what he can do when he's optimized. And the Dodgers are looking forward to it. It's easy to see their upside, but they need just a little bit more to fulfill a title defense. If they can get past San Francisco, anything's possible. Finally, we come to what could quite possibly be described as one of the more disappointing teams of the season in San Diego. I know you don't want to be reminded of 2015, boys, but with how the team's been performing in the clutch, that comparison's going to be made more often than not if they don't make it. It's been all but a free-fall for the Padres. They've lost 7 of 10 and 20 of 28. This is supposed to be a World Series contender? Slam Diego? Now with how bad the hitting's been as of late, Blake Snell has gone from whipping boy to the poor sucker holding the bag after excellent starts. Otherwise, what happened to you, Darvish? Why did they think bringing in withered up Jake Arrieta to serve batting practice as a starter was a good idea? A team ERA over 5 in September? This was what the all-in moves were done for? If they don't make the playoffs this season, there are going to be countless people lined up for a hot date with a firing squad. Get your fucking shit together, boys. You're supposed to be a hell of a lot better than what we've seen. At least make the wildcard game so you can get your asses kicked by Big Brother up north. And no, I don't mean San Fran. You, along with the rest of the contenders, only have a few weeks to prove yourselves. Play every game like it was your last.
Bobby and Joe, it's your pitch.
And you would expect nothing less than a pair of strikes, Joe Torre and Bobby Valentine.